Micah Frankel with Jordan Espinosa. We're talking about GKO 9, and you're going to challenge Joseph Morales for the flyweight title. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to the fight.
How many title fights have you been in so far, amateur, pro career?
Amateurs, I've actually only had one amateur fight. This will be my second pro title fight. So I'm 1 for 1 as a pro in title fights. Trying to make it 2 for 2.
So does that give you any added motivation, main event, title on the line? Or are they things that it's nice for us to promote, but not something that you consciously concern yourself with?
A little bit of both. I mean, I always like challenging myself, and usually the guys that I'm fighting the belts for, they're not just bums. They're guys with good records. There's guys that have been tested. This guy in particular comes from a good gym, Alpha Male. He 7-0. They're kind of trying to build him up, and he's the hometown guy, but I'm always fighting the hometown guy, so it's another fight for me. The belt's pretty sweet, so it's exciting, and yeah, can't wait.
Taking a look at Joseph Morales, seen his grappling, obviously.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not great wrestling, but we've seen grappling. I've seen submissions out of every position he can come up with. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was actually at his last fight when I was cornering Steven, and he looked good. He fought a long, lanky guy. He was able to get in a bunch of good positions, especially off bottom. Got the guy in a couple triangles, swept him a few times. Team Alpha Male patented guillotine. He had him in a guillotine 3 or 4 times. Real scrambly, squirmy. I think I'll have size on him, which I haven't had in the past 3 or 4 fights. So I think it'll be a fun fight. I think I'm better everywhere. He may be a little bit more slick, straight jiu-jitsu, but he wasn't really striking from top. He wasn't really dominant from top position. He just real squirmy off his back. Not unlike Barata, who I fought 2 years ago. So I'm thinking this fight's going to go a lot like that one. Stuff the takedowns, beat him up on the feet, and it'll be a good night for me.
Now we have to bring it up. Your last fight, Access TV. Interesting fight. How do you look back at your CES experience?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it was weird. I definitely have felt much worse after a loss. Like, I had fun. Felt like I fought, and against a respectful dude, and I went out there and did well. The frustrating parts when watching it and in retrospect is the 3rd round. It always sucks when you get so close to finishing a fight. I landed the head kick in the 2nd round, shin bone. Guy's tough as hell, takes it, gets right back up. But the 3rd round, when I probably should have pushed it on, I was a little bit too passive, and in his hometown like that, I'm not gonna get the decision. And even I felt that in the fight. I was like, shit, I should have ramped it up. But all in all, I had a great time during the fight. I felt as comfortable as I ever felt in the cage before. I just needed to let my hands go. I was a little bit hesitant because I knew he had power. He had 5 first-round knockouts in his last 6 fights, and so I was a little bit too hesitant. But I was having success in the stand-up. I mean, that's why we do this, to learn, right? But I feel good. I think the guy I just fought is better than the guy I'm gonna fight. So, and I'll be bigger this time. So.
If we were counting touches, I think you touched him a lot more up in the 3rd round than what he did you, but that backwards movement is not favorable in the judge's eyes. So do you think about that to yourself? Like afterwards, there's things, and we know this in MMA, that are not exactly outlined in the judging criteria, but as a viewer, you can't help but take them into account. Things like that. Movement shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter who's going backwards. It matters who lands.
Yeah.
But it matters.
I agree. So it's always different. I can sit down and watch some UFC fights, and you can sit down and watch me in those fights too. But first person in there, it's so much more different. Like if you've never fought, or if you don't have experience doing this stuff, it's crazy kind of. And then I realized it during the fight, even during the 3rd round. I was like, oh shit, I need to not back up so much, or at least throw more, make it look like I'm doing something. But by the time I realized, it's a little bit too late. I mean, I definitely landed the more shots. I landed the cleaner shots. His face was best up, mine was fine. But yeah, man, he threw more and at least had more volume probably in the 3rd round, which probably lost me the fight. But
I thought he was throwing more. I just didn't really see him connecting that much. I thought on your defense, you did a really good job of deflecting shots with your hands and deflecting the power of his punches, and he is a powerful puncher.
Yeah, so when I look back at that fight, I for sure won the 2nd round, and sure, I'll give him the 3rd round. What screwed me up, I think, The first half of the first fight,
Talking about flying backwards?
so one of them I was off balance, two of them I went airborne, and those totally, like watching them live, even when I've gone back and watched the video, they look bad. They show the replays, he doesn't hit me. It's a thing I've been working on, like staying composed. Just at the beginning of fights and stuff, I want to come out and like do stuff, but gotta stay on my feet and like stay balanced and have a good boxing stance, and it's fundamentals. But I don't know, looking back at that fight, like I said, I wasn't like devastated that I lost. I had fun. I do this stuff. I learned after the Urso fight, like I can't just throw all of myself emotionally and everything into fighting, because it's so chaotic. You're gonna get let down, and then it would be that much more terrible if I just like gave my all and every part of me to every loss. Like that, yeah, it's not good. So
then you still gotta love this sport. Because I even heard that you're gonna take a 16-hour car ride to get to this fight.
Yep.
So this is a labor of love to go through some of those obstacles.
Yeah, this is going to be a little rough just because I'm going to be cutting to 125 for the first time in a year, and a little over a year. But I'm light, and I'm really looking forward to this fight. I'm going to come home with a new toy. I get to beat up a good opponent, and I think it'd be really good for me to test my skills. Technically, I'm undefeated at 125, so I'm looking to continue that. I haven't lost, and even against the last time I fought an undefeated 125er was Barata, and he was 6-0 at the time. So
as you're dieting down, are you thinking, those fights at bantamweight weren't so bad?
I've never had really a big issue cutting weight. I've been cutting weight since I was 14 in wrestling. And for fighting, my worst weight cuts have been in wrestling. Because you weigh in, and then an hour and a half later you're wrestling, and you're still dying, and then sometimes you weigh in the next day too. No, I mean, cutting weight's part of the sport. I personally, it sucks, but kind of got to grit my teeth and do it, and it's all right.
And we've seen the new weigh-in model being used by some commissions, the early weigh-ins. I don't know if you've experienced that yet, but do you have any thoughts on how these processes and experiments are taking place to try to, I guess, make this a safer sport, give you guys more time to rehydrate, less weight cutting?
Yeah, personally, if everyone just fight at like what they walk around, or is like within like 5 to 10 pounds of that'd be awesome. But I like the UFC kind of model. You come in 10 o'clock and weigh in. I always hate when promotions have weigh-ins at like 7 or 8 at night, and then you fight, like you barely get 24 hours. I like the 10 and then get like 40, 38 hours, 36 hours to weigh in. No, I think that's the best way to go about it. I mean, if cutting weight people are still going to do it, at least give them ample amounts of time to rehydrate so we don't look terrible during the fight.
Now we've had all the serious talk, all the fight talk. Let's have some fun talk. We go to your music. What do you listen to right now? What's on your iPad or on your phone? What's Jordan Espinosa listening to?
I can listen to a bunch of stuff. I have like Linkin Park, and then I have like freaking Al Green. Like I have all kinds of like wide ranges of music in my, like I can listen to Britney Spears and like listen to Tupac, right? I'm not one of those people who, and I've always been like this in high school wrestling. My coach Lenny, he was always putting on like classic rock, and so I have a bunch of that on my playlist too. I don't know, music just pumps me up. I go running a lot, and like a lot of people hate cardio, but I love cardio, and I just like get lost in the music. But I can run the classical music, or I can run to like, except for country, I don't necessarily just like go out of my way to listen to country or run to it or put it on my playlist. But yeah, no, I have a wide range of music. I like to think I'm well balanced.
So there's no in-camp versus out-of-camp stuff that you're kind of listening to, the more anything that you particularly like to go run to or to start off practice
really
with?
There's a couple songs that I know that like I'm walking out to the song, or that I have walked out to, they kind of get me hyped. I think my last fight we didn't get to choose our walkout song, which is ridiculous, but the fight before that, I walked out to Eminem Till I Collapse, and I walked out to that a couple times, but that one kind of gets me hyped. And then I've also walked out to Dream On by Aerosmith, and so I've walked out that a few times, and that was one of the ones I got from wrestling and Coach Lenny. So those are, I guess, have a little bit more hype value. So yeah.
So any specific way that you decide, if you have the opportunity to, what song you're gonna walk out to for a fight? Is it a moment, like just a feeling, an instinct?
Sometimes. I was thinking about this fight just because it's in California and I'm fighting a Team Alpha Male guy. I was gonna walk out to the California song that Uriah always walks
California
out to.
Love. See how much booze you can get.
And then Uriah is probably going to be in his corner because I saw he was in his corner last time, and we were all sharing a locker room, and I just thought it'd be interesting, but kind of cliche-ish doing that. But if I don't walk out to anything Tupac, I'll probably walk out to Eminem again. So.
Nice. So the music, it helps. It has its own soothing factor for you.
It helps me. So I'll be focused on the fight, of course, but like it gets me. Like I don't like running without music. I don't like just listening to outside, but it helps me like just kind of get lost in it, which helps me not think about things, which helps me flow. Like I wish we could fight with music on, so and then I won't think so much about what's going on and just let things be reactionary and just flow.
And now, how much then are you listening to music? How much does that keep you guys centered? Because I see a lot of guys with headphones, from the weigh-ins until they're done with the fight. They seem like they're in their own little world and it's helping them.
Yeah, well, like leading up to the fight, like now and like days before, I don't really care. I don't just jam out to music all day. I'll do it when I'm running or if I'm like walking somewhere. But everyday life, I'm like laying down, working out, watching Netflix or playing video games, and then I'm not listening to music. But like weigh-ins and stuff, I hate just sitting there, especially if there's one of those ones where you gotta show up at 8, weigh in at 9. Like I'll sit there for that hour and just lay down, my headphones on. But
a lot of work done in the gym. You also mentioned that home relaxing thing is video games. You got anything new you're playing?
No, I've actually been playing the Final Fantasy X Remastered Edition HD. So played it way back when I was like 11 when it came out back in 2000. I was a big RPG guy and big video game nerd. I've already put in like 140 hours within like 10 days or something. It was something ridiculous like that, and that's where a lot of my time goes.
Video games, music, and going for a title at GKO 9. What's the message for the fans, Jordan?
I don't think there's a stream, but if there is, I'll let you guys know. But I'm looking forward to bringing a new toy back. I wanna get a title against a solid opponent, beat a big name. They just called his name out on the last UFC pay-per-view, so beat him. That'll look good. He's 7-0, and it's Alpha Male guy.
Right, that helps, doesn't it? Cynthia Calvillo calling out for him to get a shot in the octagon. You beat him. That's a good name then at your record, right?
It's great. It's always nice beating undefeated guys. I've fortunately beaten like 6 undefeated guys in my career, so just be another one. It'd be nice.
So you seek out the challenges.
Yeah, I mean, I remember telling the promoter the reason I even got this fight was because during his fight, I was watching it during the main event. I like had a couple drinks with me. I go up to the promoter during the event. I was like, I want to fight the winner of this fight for your next show. He's like, all right, and I got it. I got what I wanted. So
the secret to getting a title shot. We just heard it.
Just ask and you shall receive sometimes. But yeah, worked out.
Jordan Espinosa, as always, thank you for the time. People you need to thank and shout out to?
Yeah, thanks Micah. Just all my training partners at Luttrell MMA, all my coaches that have helped me, and Bocadillo Slow Roasted, they're always awesome. Give a shout out to Marie Inges, who just won an episode on Chopped, and so she's the head chef over there. And then Damage Control, awesome guys. DS Oil Services, based out in Houston. So yeah, great people, and looking forward to the fight.
Thank you for the time.
Yep.